It's 5:40 on the 27th of July 2025. In the South China Sea, USS Ronald Reagan catches a hard blip sliding in from the gray. A sharp tone slices the bridge, heads turn. Alarms snap, doors slam, boots hit steel. Watchstanders call bearings and range. Outside, the flight deck wakes handlers, freeze aircraft. Safety nets go up, helicopters sit on alert. Through haze, a low, boxy silhouette grows. A Chinese Type 815-gram spy ship, antennas and domes aimed our way. No shots, no lights, just a steady approach, closing the gap, one cable at a time. The radio cracks. Unidentified vessel, this is Warship 76. Alter course now. Silence rides the speakers. The EW team powers up. Antennas sweep to listen, and if needed, to jam electronic noise can blind cameras and radars for moments. The captain's voice stays even. Hold safe distance. Do not escalate. Sailors steady their breathing. Pens hover over logbooks. Waves thump the hull. Every second stretches. One wrong call turns a close pass into a headline. The South China Sea is more than waves and reefs. Each day, thousands of ships cross these lanes with oil, grain, and electronics that keep shelves full worldwide. For the United States, guarding this lifeline falls to the 7th Fleet. Today, that duty rests on USS Ronald Reagan. The mission is simple to say, hard to execute. Keep sea lanes open for all without lighting a fuse. Beijing reads the map differently. It claims broad zones, builds runways and radars on artificial islands, and backs them with Coast Guard cutters and militia. The Type 815 grams intelligence ship pressing close is not merely observing, it is testing nerve. Tall masts and white radomes drink in radar modes, radio calls, and flight deck routines, seeking the carrier's timing, the tone of warnings, and the space she will yield. Washington cannot look away. If the carrier yields, allies doubt American resolve. If it pushes too hard, the standoff can harden into crisis. Either path ripples through the economy. Insurance premiums jump when tankers reroute. Factories slip schedules as parts arrive late. Markets shiver at each headline. For sailors on watch, stakes are immediate. One clipped antenna or garbled call can become a diplomatic incident before sunset. Under UNCLOS, warships enjoy navigation rights, but close shadowing sits in a gray zone. The Reagan replies with calm bridge-to-bridge calls in English and Mandarin, repeats her position, and demands a safe closest point of approach. Electronic warfare crews listen for hostile modes and can flood sensors with noise enough to break a lock without firing. An escort destroyer with an AN divided by SPY-1D radar holds the wider picture. Steel stays silent. Tension climbs. If you think the US must hold firm, press 1. If China is right to push back, press 9 and subscribe so you don't miss the next move. 5:47. The Reagan's radar scope glows with the outline of the Chinese ship holding steady on the port side. The captain orders a new round of warnings broadcast. Unidentified vessel, maintain safe distance. The response is static. No course change, no voice, just silence. That silence is a message of its own. On the flight deck, aircraft handlers freeze movements. F, divided by A-18 seconds that were warming up, remain chained down. A helicopter crew stands by, rotors ready, in case airborne eyes are needed. Inside, combat systems officers track bearings, speeds, and intercept points. Each second is logged, each maneuver is measured. The Chinese ship inches closer 1 mile, then 3/4. Its tall domes tilt toward the carrier, sucking in signals. The Reagan's electronic warfare team makes its first move. A burst of noise is fired across specific frequencies. For a moment, the spy ship's sensors blink. Screens fill with static. Cameras lose sharpness. The jam lasts only seconds, but it is a reminder. America can blind if it chooses. On the bridge, lookouts report. Spy ship altering course slightly. Still closing. The captain nods, then orders escorts to shift. A destroyer slides between the carrier and the spy ship, creating a barrier. Its SPY-1D radar hums at full power, painting a broad picture, while its deck guns train outward, not firing, just visible. Visibility itself is deterrence. The Chinese crew responds in kind. A bright light flashes from their mast, a coded signal. Their ship steadies just inside 1,000 yards, too close for comfort, far enough to argue legality. Over open channel, Mandarin voices call coordinates, implying rights to their waters. The Reagan counters firmly. This is international sea. Maintain separation. Tension builds. The EW team picks up spikes of electronic probing, China testing American responses, mapping which bands trigger noise. Each move is logged for future fights. The US sailors stay sharp. One slip of a dial could look like escalation. The Reagan holds her course. Planes remain grounded. Weapons remain cold. This is an engagement without fire, but not without risk. Each radio call, radar sweep, and silent miles sailed side by side is its own kind of battle. The clash is measured not in missiles but in nerve. The spy ship holds its position, edging closer with each swell. Sailors aboard the Reagan can see crew on deck, binoculars aimed, cameras rolling. The destroyer escorting the carrier steadies between them, guns silent but ready. Every degree of angle matters now. The Reagan turns slightly, narrowing her profile, making targeting harder. The Chinese vessel adjusts as if mirroring the move. Electronic spikes crackle again. The Reagan's EW crew counters, jamming select frequencies, breaking the rhythm of Chinese collection. The spy ship quickly adapts, shifting bands, showing its crews are trained for this duel. The carrier strike group answers by cycling tactics, never staying predictable. It's a chess game at sea, each move meant to unsettle the other without tipping into combat. On the flight deck, F divided by A, -18 seconds remain parked, but ordnance crews stand by. Inside the combat center, tension is heavier than steel. Voice nets hum as escorts and carrier pass bearings. A single mistake could read as hostile intent. The Chinese vessel tests boundaries, sliding closer again inside 800 yards now. Too near for comfort, close enough that a misstep could mean steel on steel. The Reagan's captain orders steady speed, no sudden changes. The message is clear. We will not be intimidated. Yet restraint has its cost. Every time the carrier holds back, Beijing gathers more confidence, more data. Sailors know they are being measured, how fast they respond, how calm they sound, how steady their hands remain. Lookouts report Chinese crew waving a flag signal asserting territorial waters. The Reagan rejects it with another broadcast. These are international seas. The clash is verbal, electronic, and psychological all at once. For sailors, the hardest part is holding fire when instincts scream otherwise. Pressure mounts. The distance is short, the stakes enormous. One bump could spark headlines, one flare could shift markets. Both crews stare across the water, waiting for the other to blink. If you were on the bridge right now, would you back off to avoid risk, or hold steady to show resolve? Press 1 if you'd match America's stance. Press 9 if you'd mirror China's push, and hit subscribe to follow how this dangerous game unfolds. Then the unexpected shift. At 6:05, radar operators aboard the Reagan pick up new contacts. Small, fast, moving low across the surface, not warships, but drones launched from a nearby support vessel. Smaller, harder to track, built to skim close to the waves. The spy ship wasn't just gathering intelligence, it was baiting the carrier into revealing tactics under pressure. Alarms rise. The Reagan's escorts switch to tighter defense posture. Close-in radar modes lock on the tiny signatures. These drones don't carry heavy missiles, but they can harass, record, and force maneuvers. In a crowded sea lane, that's dangerous enough. The strike group now faces a twist it hadn't expected. Surveillance turning into interference. The captain orders a new layer of defense. A Seahawk helicopter lifts from the deck, sensors hot. From above, the crew gains a better angle on the drones. Data flows back to the combat center, guiding countermeasures and defensive fire. The spy ship holds its shadow, pretending innocence while the drones buzz forward. Its domes spin, hungry for the carrier's every move. The destroyer fire's warning bursts from its deck. Gun splashes rise just ahead. Some peel away, others keep charging. This is the twist. The US cannot fire freely without escalation, yet cannot ignore provocation. Each choice is measured in seconds. Sailors know if they miss here, the next encounter could bring more than drones. Every move is recorded, every reaction judged. The Chinese ship watches closely, learning how the Reagan fights under pressure. The air smells of powder and jet fuel. Every eye is fixed on the horizon. The clash has shifted from silent surveillance to a live test of nerve, and the danger now skims just feet above the waves. The last wave of drones pushes in, closing fast. Radar screens pulse red, alarms echo through the ship. The Seahawk circles above, relaying plots, but the range is now too short for tidy maneuvers. The captain gives the order, engage! A destroyer's deck guns roar. Bright tracers rake the dawn, tearing into the first inbound drone. Fireballs bloom above the waves. Another target darts lower, slipping under the gun arcs. The Reagan answers with close-in defense. Phalanx CIWS spins up, barrels blur, and a torrent of rounds saws the air. The second drone vanishes in a gray fan of spray. Yet one keeps coming. It skims the surface, engine whining, wake knifing toward the bow. Sailors brace, eyes fixed, hands tight on their stations. Hold! Hold! The captain says, voice even. At the last moment, CIWS fires again. A wall of tracers slams the drone, ripping it apart barely 100 yards off the ship. Shrapnel hisses into the sea. A hard slap of spray rolls across the flight deck. Damage control teams fan out. No hits, no fires. Flight deck crews sweep for debris. Every bolt matters before jets can move again. Below, operators clear tracks. Confirm no follow-on wave. The Seahawk marks the debris field and climbs, sensors searching for the launch source. Nothing obvious, just clutter, distant hulls, and a quiet horizon that doesn't feel quiet at all. Off the port beam, the Chinese spy ship holds its place, cameras steady, domes turning. It speaks only with posture. The message is simple: we can press you without firing a missile. The Reagan logs everything: radar modes, jam timings, gun cycles, radio calls. These notes will brief pilots, captains, and diplomats. Today's scramble becomes tomorrow's playbook. The carrier strike group resets. Magazines are checked, barrels cooled, bearings confirmed. No one relaxes. The lesson is stark. A swarm of cheap threats can force a billion-dollar ship to spend attention, time, and ammunition. Next time, the swarm could be bigger or paired with a missile shot from shore. The sea looks open, but the space for mistakes has narrowed to inches. This is the climax: raw steel, steady hands, and a rival that measures every heartbeat. If you back the US, firing to hold the line, press 1. If you think China's probing was the smarter play, press 9, and subscribe to see how the next clash unfolds. Result: the Reagan survives, but the message is sharp. The Chinese drones never struck the hull, yet they forced a billion-dollar carrier and her escorts to spend ammunition, burn hours, and expose tactics. For Washington, this proves US defenses work, but also shows how rivals adapt. For Beijing, it's a cheap way to test nerves and collect priceless data. In the wider world, the impact ripples fast. Shipping companies raise premiums, wondering if the sea lanes are still safe. Allies watch closely. Japan, Australia, and the Philippines measure how firmly America holds its ground. If the US falters, partners doubt its shield. If it overreacts, markets tumble. Either way, the balance shifts with every close pass. On board the Reagan, the mood is mixed. Pride for steady hands, tension for what comes next. Sailors write reports, secure systems, and check gear again. The air still carries the smell of powder, a reminder that even without a missile fired, they stood one misstep from crisis. Commanders know the fight was as much about perception as defense. Every radar pulse, every warning call, every burst of fire was recorded, analyzed, and filed into Beijing's growing playbook. For the US, the takeaway is sobering. Cheap tools can bleed time and resources from the strongest fleet. For China, the lesson is that America won't yield easily. This duel of presence is set to repeat again and again until one side miscalculates or decides to push harder. Tonight, the Reagan held fast. The sea stays open for now, but the next wave could be doubled or paired with missiles from shore batteries. The real test is yet to come, and both nations know it. So here's the question for you. Should the US answer every probe with force or play the long game and absorb the pressure? Press 1 if you back America's hard line, press 9 if you think China's shadowing is smarter, and subscribe so you don't miss the next showdown in these contested waters.